Welcome to episode 16 of Inside Politics, for teens, by teens, where I explore the politics and issues impacting our generation. I'm your host, Christina Li, and today I'm focusing on the efforts of Humanity Forward. For this, I've invited Zoe Ferguson, a program associate for HudsonUP at Humanity Forward. Zoe, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Christina. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for asking. So let's jump right in. And for those of us who aren't familiar with HudsonUP, could you just give a brief overview of the program?
Of course. So HudsonUP is a universal basic income program, UBI, based in Hudson, New York, which is a small town of about 6,000 people, a little bit upstate. And what the UBI program does is we are giving $500 a month to 25 people for 5 years, no strings attached. They use the money however they want, and it is a randomly selected system. So HudsonUP is created together with Humanity Forward, which was founded by Andrew Yang, who ran his presidential campaign in 2020 based on the idea of UBI with his $1,000 a month to all Americans concept. And it was also founded by these two entrepreneur investors named Susan Danziger and Albert Wenger, who contributed financial and programming, and they run the program in concert with Humanity Forward.
Got it. So I guess, what are the political implications of UBI?
Well, there's a couple of different answers to that, Christina. So one of the aspects of UBI is that the political implications could be on a really groundswell level because it allows individuals to get more involved in politics if they like. So if you have $500 a month, for example, with HudsonUP, you could get more involved in politics, in activism, in art, and in community organizing if you didn't have time for that before because you had to work on getting that last bit of money to use your expenses. The other implication that it has is that we've seen in places that have implemented UBI in other countries, like in Europe, that they have a certain concept of providing for the community that really helps people get involved with their community and helps people understand the concept of government and providing for their expenses in a different way.
Mm-hmm. So I know that one of the very common initial pushbacks that people have when thinking of UBI is how are you going to pay for it? So could you talk a little bit about how HudsonUP and Humanity Forward address this?
Mm-hmm. Well, this is a really hard question, Christina. And HudsonUP is one of the first UBI pilots in the country. There have been a lot of different UBI initiatives in bigger cities. So for example, in Stockton, California, Mayor Tubbs has this amazing program, but Hudson is one of the first to do it in a small city. It's actually the first small city UBI pilot that we know of, and it's certainly Humanity Forward's first small UBI pilot in a city. So right now with this pilot, the money doesn't come from taxpayers. The money comes from Susan Danziger and Albert Wenger, contribute half of the money, and Humanity Forward contributes the other half. And together, they're able to have this fund to create the UBI pilot. In terms of other situations, there are a lot of different proposals. So one proposal people have had, there's a collective called Mayors for UBI, which is really active online, and it's really fascinating. They have all these different ideas. One of them is, there's a lot of funding in the government that goes to certain areas of our government and certain programs. So for example, there is a ton of money in many cities that goes to the police. If you had, for example, some of that money given to social programs, there could in theory be more money for something like this.
Got it. So I guess by working for the program, what does this mean personally to you?
To me, this means that I'm really excited to get in on the ground, so to speak, with an initiative that I think is really exciting. I have known Susan Danziger for several years. I started working with her. I did an internship with her at a startup that she founded when I was 19, called Zigio, which was a video API startup. And I reached out to her after I graduated from law school because I was looking for a job. and she had this new thing going on with HudsonUP. So for me, it's really exciting to get involved. You know, I'm from New York, my family's all in New York, and I have a lot of experience being upstate. You know, I went to school in Ithaca at Cornell, and my family is from different parts of upstate. So it means a lot to be able to get involved in a place like Hudson, where there's a lot of people who are really actively involved already. You know, we're not the first people to decide to do something community oriented in Hudson. There are a ton of people doing work. There are a lot of people of color and Black people who are already organized there. And it's honestly an honor to be able to get involved with them and to make sure that we are contributing and not kind of coercing. That's really meaningful to me.
Got it. And I guess where do you think the generation of Gen Z would factor into this? So I guess like how would this impact them, and how can we also get involved with something like this?
This is a great question. And for me, the Gen Z population in Hudson itself is super active and really inspiring. One of the organizations that we work with in HudsonUP is called Greater Hudson Promise Neighborhood. It's one of the Greater Promise neighborhoods. I'm sorry, hair in my face.
No worries, you're good.
That President Obama created when he was in office, and it works with youth and children in the city. So those people are incredibly active in things like fair housing. They just ran a protest or a march that was for fair housing in Hudson. And I think that Gen Z, especially with people like that and people like you who have a ton of initiative and a lot of ideas and experience, you know, you have experience that people, even me, you know, I'm only 25. I like to think I'm not that much older than you, but you have this different experience, right? With the economy and with jobs and politics, and you see it from a different place. And that gives you opportunity and an ability to do things that we just don't know how to do. So I think, to make a long answer short, for UBI, you do have the opportunity, especially once you reach voting age, to vote, you know, top to bottom, all the way down the ticket, and to hold your elected officials accountable, even before you reach age 18. You know, you are real citizens of your communities, and you have a real impact, as demonstrated by people like you and people like the children in Hudson. And I think that you have a big opportunity to use your voice to speak to your elected officials and to hold leaders in your community accountable.
That's a great message. So thank you so much, Zoe, for being here with me today. I really appreciate it. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see everybody next time on Inside Politics. Hi everyone, this is Christina. Thank you so much for watching Inside Politics, and please feel free to check out the rest of the interviews on my channel. See you next time!